Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you're all having a great and wonderful day. Well, what we have here is something pertaining to Ukraine, where apparently Ukraine has decided to bomb one of well, you could say Russia's subs, nuclear subs, mind you, and it is a big problem. Now, the reason why I say this is an issue is mostly due to the fact that uh, if this is may pertain to World War III, but I don't think it necessarily will, because I think this is going to hurt Ukraine more than it's going to hurt Russia. I think this is not going to do very well for negotiations. And on top of that, it's mostly due to the fact that they kind of went behind Trump's back without consulting him first. And why I keep on saying that Ukraine is the enemy of our country, but I digress. So we have this here. So first off, we're going to be showing this video here of what's been going on with this full clip. So it's only 30 seconds, but we'll get the gist of what's going on. Hopefully this loads and doesn't take 2 years to do. Yeah, so as you can see there, that's what's been going on. Now, we're going to be going over a few of this stuff here, but we're mostly going to be going over what's this. We won't be talking about too much about that. We're going to be talking about what's been going on. So we have this here, Kiev's brazen drone strike on nuclear bombers alarms Moscow. It says Ukraine's drone strike deep inside Russia's territory left Kremlin officials angry, alarmed over the sudden vulnerability of a nuclear-capable air fleet far from the battlefield, according to people close to senior officials in Moscow. Sunday's dramatic attack on Russian long-range bombers in airfields in Siberia helped to disrupt an arsenal that Moscow deploys to hit Ukraine with some of its most powerful missiles. It also demonstrated Ukraine's ability to hit key assets thousands of miles from the front lines, which the Russian military had thought were safe. Nobody is predicting that Sunday's dramatic attack will change the course of Vladimir Putin's war. Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky celebrated the brilliant covert operation. Planned over a year and a half and involving unmanned aerial vehicles popping out of trucks that have been driven across Russia's vast expanse, it was the longest range mission undertaken in the 3-year war, he said. The damage inflicted on the warplanes is likely to rattle decision makers around Putin rather than shake up Moscow's military aims. Only a few such bombers are needed for attacks on Ukraine, meaning that the pace of missile and bombing strikes won't slow, according to people close to the Kremlin who spoke on the condition of anonymity. But the deep penetration raid was a direct hit on their assets, including targets on Tu-160, Tu-95, and Tu-22 M3 bombers that have long been considered less vulnerable to attack than land and naval forces, which have suffered bigger losses. Russia's defense ministry confirmed attacks at 5 military air bases across the country on Sunday. Russia acknowledged that several aircraft were damaged compared with Kiev's claim that more than 40 planes were hit. A person close to the Kremlin put the tally at closer to 10. Pro-Moscow military blogger Rybar, which has about 1.3 million Telegram subscribers, estimated that 13 aircraft were affected, most of them long-range bombers. Western officials continued to assess the aftermath of the raid. The destruction was substantial, with at least 7 Tu-95s and 4 Tu-22s damaged or destroyed, according to the senior official. The strike, broadcast brightly on Russian social media, was successful in lifting morale in Ukraine, a European diplomat said. I don't care what the Europeans said, because I don't care for Europe. I think they're a very terrible country at this point in time, and they're the ones that are aiding and abetting and wanted the war to continue in Ukraine versus Russia. President Donald Trump's administration was not notified ahead of the attack, a U.S. official said. So again, as I said before, they didn't let Trump know, or any of the U.S. people know. They just did it behind Trump's back, and they are trying to be negotiating peace deals with us, right? Event in a fleet of Tupolev Tu-95 strategic bombers, which the Soviet Union began deploying in the 1950s, will put a strain on remaining models modified to carry cruise missiles. According to Douglas Berry, a senior fellow on military aerospace at the International Institute for Strategic Studies in London. So yeah, this is what they did here. They used drones as well here that to carry this out. It says here that the operation will significantly reduce Russia's nuclear capabilities, according to people close to the Kremlin and the Defense Deterrent Ministry. London-based political analyst Vladimir Pushchov said the attack will have little concrete military significance, with minimal involvement of Russia's aviation forces in the war on Ukraine. The remaining equipment is more than enough to achieve the goals for which it is involved in this war, Pushchov said on his Telegram channel. But the nature of the target cuts to the heart of Russia's threat factor as a nuclear power, chipping away at Putin's image of vulnerability. Lomich Withington, an associate fellow in electronic warfare and the defense at the UK's Royal United Services Institute, noted a shift, with Kiev now reviewing Russia's nuclear deterrent as a legitimate target. This recent attack underscores the inability of Russian air defenders to protect key strategic assets like bomber bases, Withington said. So yeah, what we have here is that during the peace treaties that we're trying to negotiate peace treaties or peace deals with Russia and Ukraine, Ukraine does not notify President Trump or any of the U.S. officials about this attack, and they did it behind Trump's back. And we have this here. The Daily Beast pretty much saying here that Fox analyst bucks Trump's dig at Zelensky after Igdinia's drone attack. So again, we have this as well that's saying here that Fox News has said President Trump turned out to be wrong about Ukraine not having any cards to play in the war against Russia. Fox chief political analyst Blit Human praised the ingenious Ukrainians over unprecedented sneak attack on Russian air bases over the weekend that wiped out more than 40 aircraft worth about $7 billion. It certainly does establish that this country, whose president was being told at the White House that he didn't have any cards to play, that he apparently has quite a few cards to play. Hume was referring to disastrous Oval Office meeting in February when Trump latched out at Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky and further cameras over the war. If you didn't have our military equipment, this war would have been over in 2 weeks, Trump told Zelensky at the time. You have to be thankful you don't have the cards. Ukraine proved Trump wrong on Sunday when it launched an Operation Spiderweb, a massive drone attack that targeted Russian assets in 4 key bases. Zelensky personally oversaw the 18-month planning process for the attack. The attack involved smuggling over 100 drones deep into Russia through wooden crates on the back of trucks, which were later opened remotely. Actually reported that the White House was left in the dark about the attack before it was launched. State Secretary Marco Rubio reportedly spoke with the Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov after the ambush to reiterate Trump's call for peace between the warring nations. This daring attack, which if the Ukrainians can be believed, wiped out about 30 to 40% of Russia's strategic bombing force, Hume said. That's a major setback for Russia. It is an embarrassing intelligence failure and an embarrassing defense failure, he added. And who knows what else the Ukrainians, who proved pretty ingenious, may have up their sleeves. Now, here's the thing here. Now, some of you can't see me, so I will open this up so you can see me. But the point being here is, guys, is that this type of deal is kind of crazy, right? So I think the bigger thing that we have is that Ukraine attacked Russia. They did not notify Trump or our officials at all about this, and we're trying to negotiate peace. And they think that this is a good idea, on a way to negotiate peace, which is not. It's not going to make Trump happy. It's not going to make us happy. And of course, you have this here off to the side. They fears Trump vows payback after the order was ignored, and stuff like that. So again, there's things that are going on here, and we have this here as well. Or a bigger thing, because again, it says Germany seeks the Ukrainian suspect in Nord Stream pipeline sabotage, because again, we have this here to where Ukraine is being targeted, or the one suspect for destroying the pipeline, the Nord Stream pipeline. And again, if that's the case here, whether Ukraine had help or not is beside the point. The point being here is that Ukraine has been actively not our ally for a while now, right? They have been going behind Trump's back, not really working with us, and we're supposed to help these people. We're supposed to be negotiating peace. So it shows that Zelensky never wanted peace to begin with. They never cared for peace, and the fact that this is going on, and this is going to make Trump want to be it. It's like it's going to just going to make Trump say, "No, we're not going to have any deals. We're not going to have the mineral deal. We're not going to have any of this. You violated this deal, or what have you," and you say "f you" and just walk off because we're not going to be helping them. This does not mean that this means that we're not going to be giving money to Ukraine. We shouldn't have in the first place. So they have never been our ally. They're not a part of NATO, and they essentially what they did is that Ukraine, which is being alleged right now, destroyed the Nord Stream pipeline, what had minerals and other stuff going to Germany that supplies power, energy, etc. to Germany or Europe, and Ukraine does this for whatever apparent reason. Because what, we're allies with Russia or whatever, or we're not allies with Russia, but like because we're not taking sides or we don't want to be friends with Russia, what have you. So they're just doing this. That's the insane part here. So again, I keep on saying here, Ukraine is not our ally. They've never been our ally. We don't need to help them and let them be destroyed from what we have, right? Because again, this is what we have here as well. We have this to where where Russia is winning this war. They're just straight up winning the war because they have all of this here. They have all of this, and Ukraine doesn't have much of anything. Russia has been making headway, and how much more money do we have to fund to Ukraine for them to fund them to give them to make them lose the war? There's no point. It's not hurting Russia. It's not doing anything, and honestly, this is going to hurt Ukraine more than it's going to hurt Russia. Honestly, it just really is, and be as it may, is that Russia got what it wanted. It has what it wants. Ukraine wants its land back. So why would Ukraine want to go out and do this type of plan here? It makes no sense, and I say it severely hurts Ukraine. And so again, what I go on to say with this is that we just stop helping Ukraine. We stop giving them money. We let Ukraine foster into the waters, become Russian country or whatever, and that's it. Ukraine and Zelensky has sealed the fate of Ukraine themselves. They have single-handedly done it themselves. It is not at this point. Ukraine could have got peace, stopped the war, but they obviously don't want to stop the war. So there you have it. All right, guys, that's it for the video. That's it. Like, subscribe, share, and as always, take care, my friends.